back to another top 10 list with yours truly, Sam Healy. Today is a continuation of our top 10 Kickstarter games that me, Tom, and Z did together about a week or so ago. And this is going to be my 11 through 20. Just thought I would share them with you because I did leave some out that really could have been in my top 10, but they just weren't. And so I'm going to give you my top 11 through 20 Kickstarter games from the past. So here we go. Now my number 20 is a game that is a Viking themed game. I know, big shocker. I like them. There's nothing I can do about that. But this one is a card game called Valhalla. Now this is a game that is really neat, and it actually has funded twice on two different crowdfunding campaigns. The first one was in Poland, and then they had another one here in America for the US distribution of it as well. So that is pretty cool. I like that kind of nuance of it, but the idea of Valhalla is that you have these different warriors that you're putting down into your warband, and you can send that warband to fight against other warbands, the other players that are around the table, and you're going to be rolling these dice, and you have to match those dice with the different weapons or the fighting styles that your warriors have so that you can activate them. And if you win the battle, then you can send those warriors that were active in the battle to Valhalla, and they will score you points at the end of the game. So what you're really trying to do is to get as many of your warriors into Valhalla at the end of the game and score the points for them as you possibly can. But at the same time, you still also want to try to be able to battle with different opponents as much as possible too. It's a really neat mechanism, really neat game with the cards and everything and the dice, but there's also a lot of other stuff in it. A whole bunch of content came in this box, so really you should check it out. That's my number 20, Valhalla. My number 19 was on both Z's and Tom's top 10, and that is Rising Sun. I do enjoy the game. I just don't like it nearly as much as the one game that it gets compared to as often as it probably shouldn't, really, but it gets compared to Blood Rage a lot, and it's just, it pales in comparison to Blood Rage in my opinion, but it still is really a fun game, and it has a huge components, huge production value. There's so much good stuff in this game. Of course, I wouldn't keep it off of the 11 through 20 list, no matter how much there was a disparity between it and Blood Rage. I really do enjoy the game. I just don't care that much for the combat mechanism, but there are ways to play the game where you don't really have to get into a lot of combats, and so I've strove to try to play the game in those different ways. But I really enjoy Rising Sun. It's a great game. I do enjoy it. My number 19, Rising Sun. My number 18 is a game called Western Legends, put out by Guerrilla Games, and this is a fun Western-themed game. This is probably one of my favorite Western-themed games that is in existence right now, with Bang the Dice Game being up there. Let's see, I don't really like Holt Express because my fingers don't really navigate well inside all of those different pieces and all that kind of stuff. But Western Legends is one of my favorite Western games right now because I just like the sandbox feel of it. You can pretty much go do whatever you want to do and gain points for them, and you can go rustle some cattle. You can go play some cards in the saloon. You can go do a whole bunch of different things. You go fight bad guys. There's so much you can do, and I really do enjoy that sandbox feel with that Western theme wrapped around it. So this was a great game in my opinion. I really do enjoy it. Just didn't quite make my top 10. That's my number 18, Western Legends. My number 17 is a toss-up between two games. That is Star Realms and Hero Realms. I enjoy both of these. They were both Kickstarted, and really, it's the same game. That's why I'm kind of putting them together. They just have two different themes. One is a fantasy theme. The other one is a sci-fi theme. So it's really the same game. That's why I'm including them both. But from the very beginning, I really enjoyed Star Realms. I loved the very fast, quick, simple, and yet intricate system that the card game had going with it. And then when Hero Realms came out with the different character packs, where you have a different starting hand, you have different starting health points. There's just, you are completely different from your opponent, and I really enjoy it when games do that. So I kind of like Hero Realms a little bit better right now, but Star Realms also has the character packs that they can use with them as well. So it's kind of equal, but I still like Hero Realms just a smidge better. But I really do enjoy both of these games. So it's my number 17, Star Realms / Hero Realms. My number 16 is a game called Rise of Tribes, and this is a really neat race to get. I believe it's 10 points. Whoever can get there first is the winner, and you pretty much have a lot of different things that you can do for getting points, and I like it. It's almost like a very early, very basic civilization game, because your tribe is going against these other tribes competing for those points, and your tribe is different than everybody else's. Again, another thing that I really enjoy in games, and that is really what kind of put it on the list. The component quality wasn't that great in the base game, but they've come up with an upgrade kit that you can purchase, and it really ramps up the component quality and the eye candy goodness that the game has in it with that upgrade pack. So I definitely would encourage you to go out and get that if you have Rise of Tribes, if you've not already. But my number 16, Rise of Tribes, a great game, really fun in my opinion. Go try it. My number 15 is a game called Lords of Hellas, put out by Awakened Realms, and this one is the look of it, without a doubt, is what put it on my radar to begin with. This idea of almost like a cyberpunk type Greek and mythology type game where it's area control. You have special abilities, special powers, cards that you can play, all of these different things. It's really fun, and the way it looks on the table, it just pops, especially after some of those monuments are starting to be erected throughout the course of the game, and the different monsters that are coming in and you have to go fight them, and it's just, there's a lot of really good stuff in this game, and I really do enjoy it a lot. So that's my number 15, Lords of Hellas. My number 14 is a game called GKR Heavy Hitters. Now this is Giant Killer Robots Heavy Hitters, and it is an amazingly fun game. The card play, even down to the little thematically rich text that's at the bottom that doesn't have any bearing on the game at all. It just gives you, whoa, this explosion is brought to you by such and such a company, and all this kind of, it's just those kinds of little small details to me sometimes are what really bring it into focus. But it's mech combat, and you also have support vehicles that are going to be helping your mech wage war in this huge cityscape of an arena. And I really enjoy all the different ways that you can play this game. You can kind of go with just tagging buildings and try to win that way. You can go with full-on assault and try to knock out your opponents. Just a lot of stuff. The components are great in this game. The models are all very nice. And I really have had a lot of fun with GKR Heavy Hitters. So that's my number 14. Number 13 is a game that is on the lower end of the spectrum, so to speak, as far as complexity is concerned. It's really more of a cranial exercise than anything else, but it's really, really fun. And it's called Rising 5, The Ruins of Asteros. This is a great deduction game where you're trying to figure out a puzzle cooperatively, and at the same time, in order to figure out this puzzle, you have to go around this planet of Asteros and fight different monsters and do that kind of thing, and you take control of these different characters that are at the bottom of the board that all have different abilities, so you use them all in different ways, and it's just a really fun game, and it's not difficult to play at all. It's just really fun, and it looks great. Artwork by Vincent Dutrait, amazingly well done. So if you've not tried Rising 5 Ruins of Asteros, you really should. It's my number 13, Rising 5. My number 12 is a game that I kind of was able to see in its one of its very, very early stages, where it was a much more convoluted 4X game, and the designer really worked hard over the next couple of years to kind of streamline it and get it down to a more palatable package. And this is Warpgate. Now, Warpgate is a really neat 4X light kind of game, and when I say light, I mean really, really, really light, because it doesn't really have many of the monikers of a 4X game as far as length and a lot of rules and all this other kind of stuff. It's very simple, very streamlined, but it still gives you that explorative space opera kind of feel. So I like that. I really do. The mechanism of playing cards and firing them off and all that kind of stuff is also very fun. And it's just one of those games that kind of grew on me over the couple of years that I wasn't really involved in the process at all. He would just show it to me at conventions and explain all the differences all the changes that they've made and all that kind of stuff. And to watch it kind of grow to what it is now was a really fun experience for me. So my number 12, Warpgate. And my number 11, just missed the top 10, was a game that for many of you was probably a purchase based on nostalgia, because you played the game from way back when, back in the 80s. And this one is called Fireball Island, The Curse of Volcar. When Restoration Games announced it, I mean, everybody's minds were blown because of the nostalgia factor that Fireball Island had along with it. I'd never played Fireball Island, so I didn't really know what to expect. But then one day at the gathering of friends, I was able to play a prototype version of it with, it was me and Rodney, and that was the first time I played it. I played it again, I believe, at the gathering of friends, and it just really took off. It is not this strategic dynamo of a game. It is simply fun, and it's lighthearted. Take that. And it is so fun. The board looks so great on the board, and even the way that they made the board is interesting. But all that aside, the game is just very, very fun, and I really enjoy it a lot. It just missed my top 10, but still had to include it on this one because I really do enjoy the game that much, and I think it's a great production without the whole box issue thingy. But everything but that is really great in my opinion. So that's my number 11, Fireball Island, The Curse of Volcar. So that's about that for my top 11 through 20 Kickstarter games. I hope you enjoyed that. It's fun to make these lists because it makes me put things in order, think about things, and all that kind of stuff. And I like doing that, and I hope you guys enjoy watching the product. So thanks for joining me. I certainly appreciate it. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care now.